Hello, I'm Zoe, and this is my second major assessment on connecting with parents and families. So this is the first part of my letter to parents and guardians. I start with giving my contact information and telling them a little bit about myself. I then give parents an overview of what students will be learning over the year, which for US 2 is a unit on economics, then the 1920s, the Great Depression, World War II, the Cold War, the Civil Rights Movement, Reagan and the end of the Cold War, and then modern history with the rise of terrorism. I next go over some of my teaching strategies and some of the skills that students will have learned by the end of the year. I then encourage parents to contact me and tell them how they can do so. Next is my open house presentation. Hi, I'm Ms. Brazo. I'm a first-year teacher, and my pronouns are she, they, he. Students can refer to me as Ms., Mr., or Mix Brazo. I got my bachelor's degree at Fitchburg State University, where I majored in history and minored in middle and secondary education. I'm from Holyoke. I love to crochet and made some stuffed animals to decorate the classroom. And I'm so excited to start my teaching career at your wonderful school. So to tell you a bit about my teaching philosophy, I believe in giving students choices in the classroom. I care more that they develop critical thinking and historical thinking skills than that they memorize facts. I believe in embracing and respecting diversity both in the classroom amongst each other and in the content that I teach. I will never assign excessive homework or busy work that has no real purpose. And I'm a strong believer in restorative justice. I have certain expectations of myself and of the students in my classroom. These include being kind and respectful to everyone and everything in the classroom, working together, especially when we have group work or partner work, believing in yourselves and others. Rather than saying, I can't do this, try to say, I'm working on being able to do this, and using thoughtful and appropriate language. So here's a bit of an overview of what students will be learning throughout the year. We'll be starting with a brief unit on economics just to give them a background so that they are prepared to use the vocabulary that they will need for the upcoming units. Then we will be kicking it off with the Harlem Renaissance and the Jazz Age, and moving on to the Great Depression, and then to World War II, specifically the US involvement in that. And then we will be starting the Cold War, and then putting that on hold for a bit to talk about the Civil Rights Movement and a couple other movements such as the Women's Rights Movement and the Stonewall LGBTQ Liberation Movement. And we will then be talking about Reagan and the rise of conservatism as we finish off the Cold War, and then we will be discussing modern issues such as terrorism. In my classroom, students will be gaining skills such as analyzing documents, developing and defending arguments, identifying bias and lies, doing research, treating history as a social science, meaning developing a hypothesis, finding evidence for or against it, and either proving or disproving that hypothesis, and then historical and critical thinking. So we will have certain routines in the classroom that we'll do fairly regularly. Whenever there's homework, typically I'll give out a homework sheet on Monday that will be due on Friday. And on this sheet, there will be options to choose from that are each worth a certain amount of points, and students will have to collect a certain amount of points by the end of the week. On Mondays, we'll start class with a brief 5-minute meditation to get us ready for the week. And there will be extra credit, often by just doing more points than you needed to on the homework sheet. And there will be a What Did I Miss folder if students are ever absent. Please get in contact to me if you ever need anything, whether it's through email, over the phone, or by popping into my office hours. Please ask me any questions if you have them.